Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons. Sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. Kenworth Trucks Australia and Pace Farm Eggs.
G'day, I'm Fletch and welcome to the show. You're about to see a classic from another angle. It's a story of a lady and her Indian motorcycle. Now, this may be a later model, but it stands for legend stuff. Check it out in this week's Classic Restos on the road. When you think of an Indian bike, what might be the first thing that comes to mind? To me, it's the history of Burt Munro. And how legendary was Burt? He ran around 184 miles an hour with an unofficial top speed of around 205 miles an hour, and he held the record in the under 1000cc class, and he did it on a 1920 Indian Scout. He modified it at his home garage in Invercargill, New Zealand. Now, before I introduce you to today's guest, here's a little history of the Indian motorcycle and where it all began.
Back in 1897, there was an industry pioneer by the name of George M. Hendy. He founded the Hendy Manufacturing Company, specialising in bicycles. There was also co-founder and chief engineer Oscar Hedstrom. They opened the company's first factory in Springfield in 1901. What followed was half a century of unparalleled growth in motorcycle production and innovation, and foundational leadership in curating a true American riding culture. In 1923, the company changed its name from the Hendy Manufacturing Company to the Indian Motorcycle Company, with no letter R in motorcycle. Over the early years of existence, the company displayed extraordinary resilience with its trail-blazing success in innovation. Racing also continued despite the advent of the Great Depression and 2 world wars. In fact, not only did the brand survive these tumultuous times, but its considerable contribution to the war effort during World War I and World War II provided essential vehicles to both the American and French troops on the ground. The Indian motorcycle represents a lifestyle. It encapsulates incredible long-standing history, a legacy that every Indian owner can feel as soon as they start their bike. The Indian product and persona has come a long way. Research and development deriving from rider focus and feedback over time. The company's mission is to push themselves to be the leaders in creating the next generation motorcycles. At Indian, they have a motto: make the first move.
At a young age of 59, meet Larni Ferguson, a lady that wrestles the big Indian around with ease. Like oil to a filter, Larni is at one with her beautiful 2017 Indian Chief Vintage.
The chosen colours lend themselves also with willow green and ivory cream. Lannie grew up as a Sydney girl. She always liked horses, involved in pony club and used to go away on horse riding holidays. She even took to the water as a great swimmer. Lannie always had a passion for the countryside and open spaces. Inspired by movie The Man from Snowy River, as soon as Lannie finished Year 12 of high school, she moved to Adaminaby in New South Wales to work on farms. Now, this was no easy gig, and that wouldn't suit a lot of folk, but it was right up Lannie's alley, and since the great outdoors had a massive effect on Lannie since the age of 18, working farms meant riding motorbikes. Lannie will tell you that she was just a tomboy, but having said that, it also came with a lot of fun, and this is when her passion grew and she ended up falling in love with this beloved Indian motorcycle.
One day we were coming over the Blue Mountains, and as we were coming through Blackheath, one pulled up beside us. Just all the sparkles and the colours and everything, and the jaw just dropped and said, "What's that?" So then, as you do, then you start to Google it all the way home to try and find out, and we found out that it was an Indian. There was an Indian shop just down about 40 minutes away, so the next thing was to go down there and have a look. There was one on the showroom floor, sitting up there, sparking beautifully, but someone had already purchased it, so I wasn't allowed to sit on it, but I was salivating a great deal. And the fellow said, "Do you want me to start it?" And I went, "Oh, yes, please." So the bike started up, and because it echoed all around the showroom floor, it just filled my chest with this thumping sound. My son had always said, "Oh, you'll know when it's the note, Mum," but that was the point when I knew it was the note. It was like the native Indians with their big mother drum. It was just like that, boom, 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 boom. And the vibration just goes straight through you. Your feet felt like it was just immersing into the floor. It was just amazing. There was nothing really, mechanical, and I wasn't into all the specs or anything. It was just the feel that the bike gave you, and that was without even getting on it. So then I started looking on the internet, found one in Perth, Western Australia. Of course, I couldn't get over there to ride it. That's a country away. So then we knew someone who knew a friend over there that would ride it. He wrote it and said, "If you won't buy it, I will." I thought that was a pretty good sign. Popped it on a truck, had to wait weeks and weeks. So to get on one of these, I didn't have a road license. I'm off doing the upright courses to learn how to ride bikes, and part of it was that you have to have 12 months on a much smaller engine. So what do? You go and join Australia Post, and you start off on your little Honda Postie, and I did that for nearly 12 months, which gave you really good spatial awareness with the bags of mail on the back. It was also in the rain, so trying to get a wet letter in a very small slot was was really good practice on and not getting bogged near someone's mailbox. So then I got my 12 months up. I was able to go, didn't have to do another test or anything because I'm mature age, and straight out on the bike. So straight out on the road, which was a bit scary. So I went to a little country town where they had a little car park, and round I went doing my figure of eights. I'd been watching the Harley girls on YouTube, working out how to do it. And I got so slow because this lug's so slow, which is nice for me, that we just actually tipped over. And I went, probably should have looked up how the Harley girls get their bikes back up. So that was the next thing I had to do before I went out. And then once I've worked out how to get it up by myself, off I went and hit the road.
My passion for cars began when Nana and Pop bought their new Toyota Crown. It was Nana's, really. She loved that car. We went everywhere in it. My passion now is just the same, even though my cars are a little different. I've still got Nana's car, couldn't part with it. And I reckon if she was here today, she'd be insured with Shannons too.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
In 2025, why not consider a tour of Detroit, Michigan, USA with Fletch? Detroit, it's the Motown City, the automotive epicenter. Each day is wow, wow, and more wow. Imagine experiencing where automotive history on a grand scale began. Stay in fine accommodation, taking in some of the best museums and private car collections on the planet. Book your exclusive 2025 Detroit tour with Fletch. Enquiries at DetroitClassicTours.com.
And if you own a classic bike, make sure that it's insured with Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And becoming a member of the Shannons Club has never been easier. For more information, visit shannons.com.au and access Australia's largest automotive online hub.
You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.
Your story began in 1971. It's part of an endless tapestry that tells the story of our nation. It connects innovators to artisans, forests to houses, from the largest of operations to the smallest of outcomes. It's heritage. It's a legacy.
What do I like about the Indian? Well, she's so sparkly, love all the chrome, until you have to clean it, of course. But she's beautiful, she's big, she sits on the road. One of the things with the postie bikes was you go past a semi, with the trailers on, and there's a lot of buffering. This doesn't do that, she just sits. She lugs really well, she just pulls beautifully, she's so well balanced. For me as a girl, when you look at all the other really tall bikes, I think stop at a set of lights and I'm just going to go shush. But I can get my feet down, sit there really comfortably. The vibration that goes through you when you're riding it, it's just, yeah, magic. And the colour and everything, she's more sassy, she's more mature. I don't feel like a young'un that's getting on, a really speedy bike. I don't feel that I need to speed. I'm there to cruise and sit in my armchair. Even though I like going probably about my 80 or 90, I know that if I get into trouble and I need to overtake, get out of a difficult situation, there's power to burn. It's like riding a huge quarter horse with those big hindquarters that'll just get out under you and then just throw you forward. It's like one of the best horses I've ever ridden. She's certainly a long girl. I think she's nearly 3 metres. I'm not quite sure of all the specs, but she's jolly long. She's not nippy. I certainly wouldn't want to suddenly, round up a bull on her or anything. If you're going around a roundabout, I certainly have to plan my turns. I think if I did more speed, I'd be better at doing it. But yes, your turning circles are rather large, and she's not good I'm probably not good when I've got to turn towards gravel. I'm a bit slippy, and she is weighty if you lose the balance of it. But on the road, she just sits. You never feel like she's going to kick out from underneath you. She's just solid, really solid. It's really exciting thinking that I'm going to get out on that open road, but it does take a little bit of planning. You've got to get all your gear ready. So I have been known to get in all the wrong order and you find yourself in a bit of strife. Especially my helmet, you've got to take the glasses off before the helmet goes on or they'll go flying. So for me, I just get in the pants, pull the boots on, put my belt on, thread it through, put the jacket on, put all the keys and all the ID and the blood bank that you need to belong to inside, zip her all up, then the gloves, and then you hike out to the bike and you start it up. I don't put my helmet on until I've got it warmed up. The old girl needs a little bit of warming up to get the oil right through it, and by the time that's done, I've got all the order, put the helmet on, and I'm ready to go. When you're riding an Indian, it's a bit of a different mindset that you have to go in. It's a journey that you're going on, and it's the journey that you're enjoying rather than the destination. It's an absolute pleasure to get on, to just ride and know that nothing's pushing you to go faster. It will go fast, but you don't have to. It'll sit there and it allows you time to look. I'm looking at the livestock as I go past, or stick a beacon in someone's backyard, and it's not going to chuck me off. It's going to sit in the middle of the road while I, just enjoy the tour. As a girl, you don't have to worry with this one. It's not going to, even if you do lose balance on it, you've got these lovely big sidebars. I don't know the technical words for them. Even the panniers. The bike's not, even if it does tip, it's not going to squash your leg. It only goes over to about a 45 degree, which is the thing that allows you to get it back up again when you can. If you're ever worried about thinking an Indian's big, too weighty for girls, don't. It's all technique. When you're buying an Indian, it's like a great big American car. It's, when you get in the big, like we had a Cadillac, the beautiful spring suspension, that's what it's like to sit on one of these. You don't have to always be after the thrill of the speed. This thing's built for comfort.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Your story began in 1971. It's part of an endless tapestry that tells the story of our nation. It connects innovators to artisans, forests to houses, from the largest of operations to the smallest of outcomes. It's heritage. It's a legacy.
In 2025, why not consider a tour of Detroit, Michigan, USA with Fletch? Detroit, it's the Motown City, the automotive epicenter. Each day is wow, wow, and more wow. Imagine experiencing where automotive history on a grand scale began. Stay in fine accommodation, taking in some of the best museums and private car collections on the planet. Book your exclusive 2025 Detroit tour with Fletch. Enquiries at DetroitClassicTours.com.
So this is the 2017 Indian Chief Vintage. They came in these beautiful colours. It's just like a classic American car, a bit like the Pontiac Chief that came out. It's nice to align it with American, love America, been over there a few times, love to see these on the road when you go over there. And then in their natural environment, I don't think it's really native to Australia, but heck, I'm bringing it in as a as a new species. There's a lady riding this. I'm not too good on all the techno stuff. I think it's all hidden in here somewhere, but you've just got your basic gauge for your speed. It's got your few warning lights on it, your fuel gauge to start it. It's a nice big button that I can find even when I'm going blind. I'll be able to start it up. And just one thing, and it clicks over every time. It's never a problem. I don't think any woman should be afraid of this as far as it being too techy. It's basic. There's technology behind it all if you really want to look, but I don't go there. I just like a simple ride. Having ridden horses all my life, that's a bit like I didn't have to transfer over to the technical panniers with blocks or anything. It's a bit like the saddlebag on my saddle. Can work it really easy. And I'm a girl who has a ute, or in America you call him your pickup, so I don't pack light. So this is the bike for me. I can stuff a heap of stuff in there. Half the wardrobe can go in. It's not a problem. I know that I'd go to do a 2-day trip and never run out of the new dress. Fuel economy, who gives a hoot? If you're into classic cars, do you look at the fuel gauge? Some people ask me about the fuel economy. It doesn't really worry me. When I first pulled up to the Bowser, I didn't have a clue. There's actually two things, which is a bit of a throwaway because one isn't the fuel cap. So there was a bit of looking like a Gumby. Well, I worked out which one that the fuel went in. But yeah, you just wave it over and it sucks it in somewhere and off we go. How long does it take me to clean this old girl? Well, my partner does 3 cars in the time that it takes me to do all the chrome on it, although I do steal his chrome cleaner, so that was a bit of a bargain. I'm a massage therapist, so I treated it like a massage. So whatever I would take to do a person is about how long? About an hour to get through. But that's not including to do all your white walls. That's a whole different story. That I'd like to say personally is thank you, Indian, for giving me such a buzz. It is such a buzz to drive this bike or ride this bike. It's just the height of decadence for me. Can't beat it. It's not like the old ag bike that he used to run around with the cattle. Yeah, it's right, supreme. It's the best experience ever. I'd recommend it to anyone. Ladies, if you're ever thinking of getting a bike of your own, if you're sick of sitting pillion and waiting for the guys to do all of it, think about an Indian. You won't go wrong. Well, I always said, what was the old joke? You had to put something big and thumping between your legs or something it was. Big and rumbly. Can't put that in.
Well, you've seen just some of Larni's 2017 Indian Chief Vintage. The year of 2025, here's a sample of the Indian Scout rollout.
As America's first motorcycle company, we've been manufacturing iconic machines since 1901. Stories written in oil, gas, and rubber. Bikes from our factory are born from icons and ridden by legends. Our founders were trailblazers, a spirit of innovation that we've kept alive through evolution and respect for the history and heritage that's got us here. Looking to the past for style and spirit, but made for the dynamic roads and riders of today, we introduced the all-new 2025 Indian Scout lineup. Since its inception, the Indian Scout has represented iconic American design. And while the new Scout features class-leading technology and unrivaled performance, key design elements remain, drawing a clear line from where we've been to where we're going. As one of the first American cruisers produced over 100 years ago, Scout has an original style and a legacy that has stood the test of time, resonating with motorcycle riders worldwide. Leveraging the timeless style and perfect proportions that make up Scout's DNA, the all-new Indian Scout has been reshaped into the most capable American cruiser available today. More refined and higher performing than ever before, Scout maintains its traditional American cruiser qualities, sound and feel that have strummed the heartstrings of riders all over the world. For model year 2025, Scout models move away from cast down tubes, moving to a traditional tubular steel frame, while maintaining the perfect proportions and style that have always defined this model. A fully redesigned 1250cc engine was designed to sit within the frame, balancing the negative space and tight packaging to perfectly position it as the crown jewel within. A silhouette that shines with heritage and tradition, classically cruiser and iconically American. When it comes to comfort and control, the combination of classic cruiser comfort and low center of gravity put the all-new Indian Scout in a class of its own. Low seat height with a narrow standover makes it easy for riders of all sizes to easily reach the ground, while the low center of gravity makes the bike effortless off the side stand and easy to maneuver at low speeds and more aggressive riding scenarios alike. The completely redesigned Scout engine features a 10% increase in displacement and a 14% increase in torque, moving from 1133 to 1250 cc's, now delivering 105 horsepower and 82 foot-pounds of torque. But even more impressive is the way that power is presented. A flat torque curve through the rev range means that big power is available at any moment, ready to pull you out of a turn, close that gap, or pass whatever's in front of you, all while maintaining the Scout's in-town presence and low-speed maneuverability. We've reshaped this iconic model into the most capable American cruiser available today, customizable to fit any rider, while still classically and iconically Scout. Indian Motorcycle has considered the rider at every point in this redesign, making Scout models easier to maintain and customize, while also integrating new safety and convenience features. ABS now comes standard on all models, while new Limited and Limited Plus tech trims offer varying levels of rider-centric technology, tunable at the push of a button. 3 ride modes, as well as traction and cruise control, are available in the Limited trim, while Limited Plus adds a keyless ignition, and all of the amazing features that come with Ride Command and Indian Motorcycle's 4-inch TFT touchscreen display. The Indian Scout delivers the perfect combination of iconic American design, rider-centric technology, and an unrivaled balance of power and control that only a Scout can. The most versatile mid-sized cruiser on the market is headed to dealerships with over 100 Indian Motorcycle factory accessories. ready for you to start making it your own from the moment you ride off the lot. With 5 all-new models: Sport Scout, Scout Bobber, Scout Classic, Super Scout, and the return of the legendary 101 Scout. There's a model straight from the factory designed for any personal preference and rider use. Born from icons, ridden by legends, the all-new Indian Scout. Create stories worth sharing.
I really hope that you have enjoyed this week's episode featuring Larni, the lady and her motorcycle. And I admire Larni's tenacity for riding this mighty machine. It's also testament to the quality and history of the Indian motorcycle. Until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch. Thanks for watching.
Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons. Sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. Kenworth Trucks Australia and Pace Farm Eggs.